What's up? Welcome back, everyone. Really excited to get into today's video. So, today we're diving into how I flipped two hedge funds this year. The other one is actually one is sold, the other one is under LOI currently. And I did this by combining stealth wealth strategy with the chairman strategy, two things I've talked about here on this channel. So, this is how you can create a financial powerhouse that not only grows, but stays resilient no matter what's going on in the economy, what's going on in the markets, or life in general. Our goal is to be able to make money in all those markets. And this is another one of the high IQ strategies. So, let's break it down. All right, first up, let's talk about the stealth wealth strategy for those who don't know. Now, this isn't about hiding your money under a mattress or an old car or sipping lattes. This is a strategy focused on selling options. And we sell the options to generate a steady income, sometimes weekly, sometimes monthly. In general, my goal with business, every deal that I do, is to take the cash flow from the business, use that income to leverage financial instruments like the Step One strategy with options or private asset backed high yield loans and notes, which I absolutely love. But today we are going to talk about this hedge fund strategy using options, which we use to basically increase the institutional value without taking on huge risks. One of the things I love, so as like force value increases. So I call it the stealth wealth strategy because it is one of the ways we make money behind the scenes without anyone knowing. As a lot of you know, we're in a time when everyone is begging for attention and to make money off of it. And so I like to go in the opposite direction with everything I do. And so, I want to focus where no one else is at all right now, which is the millions of ways you can make money without an ounce of attention. So instead of buying businesses and competing with, once we buy them, instead of competing with the other business owners by using marketing, trying to get leads, we want to leverage the company's assets. And we do that a lot of different ways using chairman strategy. But one of the ways is we'll leverage it and we'll take some cash, put it into low risk strategies like covered calls, cash secured puts, which all allow you to collect income premiums like an insurance company. So while we're waiting for the perfect buying price on stocks we want to add to that company's treasury, essentially, it's one of the real strategies that made Warren Buffett wealthy. He wasn't just buying whole like your financial advisor wants you to believe. He was using this stealth wealth strategy, and just like us, he didn't need to advertise it. He just took the income and made a ton of money very quietly, very consistently. So that is at one level, it's a stealth wealth strategy with the option. Now let's add the second level. It's the chairman strategy. So this is about using value you can add to a business to get equity in that business and a chairman position to kind of oversee the business. Eventually building a ecosystem or portfolio of these deals, providing kind of high level strategic direction without getting into managing the business or operations, and just leveraging the business's assets and resources to take a small cut of rev share. And of course, we get the equity. The goal here is very simple. We want to build cash flow positive deals, set up the right terms, and leverage all the systems and teams that some other entrepreneur has gone and built up and done all that work to create, and then just help guide them towards more growth from a bird's eye view. This is something that a lot of entrepreneurs need. This isn't, however, one of those get rich quick things where it's meant to come in and nobody ever really makes money. It just sounds really easy. This strategy and even the attitude that a chairman takes in building their ecosystem is very patient, is long term, it has deliberate insight and wisdom. It's a formula for long term lifestyle changing wealth with an emphasis on lifestyle, because the whole point is the income is built around your lifestyle. While most people whole existence is built around how they generate income, which is something just I have never been a big fan of. So, what if I told you that by combining these two strategies, which we're going to get into how to do that, you could create a financial engine so powerful it's unstoppable. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about here. And I do want you to understand that this is something that I actively do. So I'm not just talking in hyperbole here, and I'll talk about the hedge fund deal that I did. So first, in this process, you're going to do a deal and take over the cash that's in the bank from that business called a treasury. I've talked about here before about an animation deal I did. I bought it out of New Zealand. It was a small business, but they still had a six-figure treasury. I had some investments. I had actually a particular investment I wanted to make, but instead of me going out and raising the capital, I used the chairman strategy to get controlling interest in the business without using any of my own money. And one of the strategies I used in addition to taking some of those funds and doing the deal that I want to do was with the rest of the funds, like, hey, we got this money sitting here. We need to use this thing I call the step one strategy to generate more cash flow for the business. Now, think of these financial instruments as fueling your financial engine. So you're selling the option, it gives you a steady income that you can pretty much rely on. And here's really the kicker: you're doing this on stocks that you don't mind owning in the corporate brokerage account. Another kicker is we structure these to double the funds. So once we open these accounts, we get margin that's in the company's name, this debt that we don't have to sign off on, this super low interest. And essentially, we end up building our own little mini hedge fund in each of the deals or each of the hold codes, really. Next, you take that option income and reinvest it to acquire another business. So here's where the chairman strategy comes into full effect. You're not just investing the cash into businesses that you could, so you're not just doing this on a business where it's just a random business, right? You're doing this on deals that basically complement the business that you've already bought or that's already in your ecosystem. Now, here is where it gets really cool. They should already be really profitable. They should, you're only doing deals on cash flow positive businesses. So guess what we do? We repeat the whole process. We set up a new treasury for the business that we've put the money into from the previous business. We create an additional source of income that becomes its own mini hedge fund and taking those funds to do more deals. This is why I say this is a snowball strategy and one of the most unstoppable ways to make money, because you're not having to come up with the money. You're basically buying your wealth. We had somebody who asked a question about raising capital before on the channel in the last video, and this is how I wouldn't go out and try to raise capital. Now, let me break this down a little bit, and I want to kind of take a step back. There are a lot of people who are working way harder than they have to before I go into a little more deeply into this. When I go over these 12 different strategies that I call kind of chairman strategies, it's not about trying to go out and immediately execute on this thing. It took me 25 years to figure out these things and to know how to execute them, where to execute them. And they're basically, over those 25 years, there's just layers of knowledge that came before I started to execute on some of these things that are really cool to do now. The really tough thing and why nobody implements these strategies is because we live in the in more intense age than the microwave age. They call it, like, my days the microwave age. Now it's the TikTok and the Instagram short era. So everyone has a very short attention span. And kudos to you if you've even made it this far in this video. No one has the patience to slowly build layer by layer, build experience in order to get this kind of life-changing knowledge. And experience plays a very important role here. It's why we've designed the chairman the way we have. You can't just watch some videos and go out and execute on these strategies. Please, please, please do not take the wealth snowball structure I'm talking about here and go out and implement that. There are ramifications that you need to be aware of. There's legal, there's the IRS, there's SEC, there's just the plain risk of capital that could cause bad things to happen. It's one of the reasons that a lot of people just don't implement this stuff. But like I was saying, it's why this chairman strategy is a beautiful thing. You can only learn it through experience, which keeps a lot of opposition and competition away. So we just brought on our first two chairmen who are going to be participating in our first chairman deal with the current group. And this first deal is really cool. It's a between two companies. One of them is a seven-figure business. The other is a eight-figure business, and we're creating a really cool joint venture between the two of them. So the reason we do this is so that they can get experience, and the whole club can get experience, because you can't just go out and do this stuff after reading or watching some videos. So they'll get the two members are going to get some free equity, some free rev share, and that we've got more deals that are coming around the corner for the rest of you chairman. But the key here is the experience. So everyone else will be able to follow along as we do this deal and each of the future deals, so that you're able to vicariously get that experience and be a part of the decision making. So I just say that to say this isn't about going to watch the videos and going and trying to execute on some of this stuff. There's some really cool stuff, but that same snowball that can make you a bunch of wealth by buying the business and then going out and using the capital to do another deal while you're using both of them to build your kind of mini hedge fund. Those types of things, it's really great because there is a tremendous amount of leverage, which is it's very cool. It's cool to use leverage. We can make a lot of money with leverage, but that same snowball that could build you a tremendous amount of wealth can also splatter you if you don't know what you're doing. And obviously on the quick YouTube video, we just talked about the attention spans. We can't get into the nitty gritty, but even explaining the nitty gritty, there's the wisdom that only comes through experience. So it's really important. Now, we do have a couple of opportunities. Obviously, if you are interested in joining the club, feel free to click out the link below. So if you're interested in being a part of the chairman, being a part, we're literally giving members deals. We've got our first two members that are a part of that deal I mentioned with the 7 and 8 figure business. We'll have one of those every couple months that people will be able to participate in. And we'd love to have you participate. We've got a really amazing group. We've got somebody from NASA. We've got a Goldman Sachs person, Lockheed Martin. Just some really amazing, talented people. Now, we also have a 2.5-day event coming up in Orlando. That is really limited. We've got 12 spots, and the team's already sold a few of them. The chairman members will also get a discount on that. So if you're interested in that, that's a good way to get in person, meet some other people that are serious about implementing these strategies. We keep it small, so there's not a lot of people going out there and using this stuff. So great opportunity to meet people and do deals. Feel free to reach out if you are interested in that. You can hit us through the Patreon messaging app. Now, back to the chairman strategy. So the other aspect of this is that you're able to create synergies between the businesses in your ecosystem. And, as we're building the club, it's also the businesses in the other people's ecosystem that are in the club. And we also have people that are doing deals outside of the ones that we're bringing. So shout out to Trevor, who has a really amazing deal. Now, maybe in your portfolio or ecosystem, you have a marketing agency. And then you go and you do the second deal and you're using kind of the treasury hedge fund strategy, and you do an e-commerce store. Well, guess what? That marketing agency can handle ads for the store, obviously, saving you costs and boosting profits. So you have the kind of snowball effect and the hedge fund strategy, but you also just have the business dynamics as well between deals in your portfolio. And the more connections you create, the stronger your ecosystem becomes. And so it's just this beautiful thing where you can do a lot of and we're talking about one of just many of these strategies, but that where these businesses can work together and you can create this snowball effect. So bottom line is you're taking the profits from your business, you are reinvesting those. So this could mean expanding, obviously, the option portfolio, or going out and doing the next deal, which also by a byproduct of that will be growing the portfolio. And the goal is to create that snowball. Another way to think of it is a flywheel. If you've ever heard of a flywheel, that it kind of just goes on its own, and you create that effect where your income sources just feed into each other. That is really the goal. You shouldn't be taking money from a business and then paying your expenses with it. Like your money should be moving 3 or 4 places before you actually touch it, and in growing in each of those 4 places. That is how you build kind of that exponential wealth. So this is what the result looks like. You build this financial ecosystem, and you build it where option strategies are going to give you some short-term cash flow. So I like to do those in either weekly or monthly increments. The business is going to provide kind of some long-term income stability. So you're not even kind of funding your hedge fund or having to raise capital. And you're leveraging some of the chairman strategies that ensure everything runs smoothly. So this isn't just wealth building. This is like just understanding the game of money and wealth mastery. So why does it work so well? One of the reasons is just diversification. In this case, you're diversifying between two complementary strategies, and you're leveraging those between each other. But then as you do each deal, you're diversifying your income from each of these deals as well. Now, I'll share a quick example that I've mentioned before, which is the one of the deals that I have closed. So this is the Celestino deal. So this is one of the 2 deals that had a treasury, where we invested that treasury, and the income from the business was really great, but the income from the fund was was great as well. And so when we sold that business, we also had this hedge fund that's with that. And so it increases the total value, especially in a deal with like the hotel deal, because it has some real estate asset. And then this becomes a whole nother asset that is just in addition to the funds there. Now, so I had a partner in that deal. We ended up exiting out his portion of the deal. And when we sold that, it was cool for him because there's just some tax advantages and all that to structure that way. But we also ended up getting this increased value because, as y'all know, it's also benefited from just the way the stock market has been over these last like couple of years, which has been absolutely outrageous. And we had kind of debated. But the really cool thing is like, the only money that we take out of these treasury and these hedge fund deals is the money that there's a portion of the money from the fund. And so it's the income. We don't dip into the principal. So it's basically like the business generates a certain amount of money. That money only goes into the fund and it grows the fund. When we take out money, it's out of the profit. So we take out a percentage of the profits from the fund. And usually we want to build it up to a certain amount, and then we'll have a percentage over this amount when we make this much. You can almost structure it like you would a hedge fund manager, which is you're going to take out a certain percentage. So like in a lot of fund manager, you'll take out 220, so 2% of the total amount that's in there each year, and then 20% of the profit. But our goal is that it's almost like an endowment. So with each of the businesses and the deals you do, it's beautiful when you can build an endowment and you can live off of that endowment or that hedge fund. And then even when you exit the business, you sell that. So shout out to E, my man, one of my clients in Texas. So he's doing a deal right now where he's buying the company, and we're structuring it as equity instead of assets. because the business has some cash. So you can literally just go and buy money. Like that's one of the most beautiful things about all of this. And so, in that case, we're actually using a financial institution to do the deal. So we're getting a loan on that, but you're basically just buying money, which is one of my favorite things about these deals. Now, back to the hedge fund that we did sell. So one of the other things that we're looking at is I'm looking at this deal in Nova Scotia that I'm going to do with two other partners. It's a resort in Nova Scotia, beautiful property. And so one of the debates is we can take some of the hedge fund and have it invest in the next deal, which again, it creates that snowball effect. But the market is I think we got a little bit more time in this bull run, which has been an outrageous return. So that's one of the things that we'll have to debate. I am curious to get y'all's opinion. What do you think? Would you take some of the money and go invest it into something maybe a little bit more long term with a resort in Nova Scotia? Or would you keep it in this raging bull of a stock market? Now, if you are sitting there, you're somebody that is ready to start building your own financial fortress. You are ready to play the money game at a different level instead of them playing you. Here's what to do next. First of all, definitely hit the subscribe button. I definitely appreciate it. Definitely give it a like. And I say hello, ask any question you have. But like I said, I'm also curious what you would do on this deal. Like, would you stay in the stock market or would you move to a resort? And also, if you are serious about getting into a whole new world, just a whole new world of business, seeing the world differently, understanding how money actually works, and most importantly, like you're willing to have the patience to learn how to play this game at this new level, but willing to get the experience because that just is a really important part. Like I'm not trying to go take you through these things and have you go out there and start implementing stuff and having bad things happen. Like my goal is that you're coming at it with the experience. And obviously, I don't want you to have 25 years of experience, but that's why we have designed the chairman the way that it is over the course of this year so that you're able to get the experience vicariously through your other members and people that are doing deals with us, and hopefully through doing a deal with us as well that we give you for free because we want you to be successful. So if you're interested in that, click the link below. We would love to have you. Now, remember, the best wealth isn't the kind everyone can see. It's the kind that is patiently created in the background, very quietly. And that's really what makes you unstoppable. So, cheers to you for making it this far. And I'll see you in the next video.